Hi, I hope everyone's enjoying the class so far. I wanted to send a video to summarize my comments from the first discussion board posts. Generally, the discussion board posts were strong. There were a few things that I want to comment on where I think people might have misunderstood what an opportunity cost is. And I also wanted to emphasize the importance of citing your sources and some of the documents that you used in your post. So when I asked you to calculate the opportunity cost of pursuing this particular degree or class, remember that the opportunity cost is the value of the next best alternative, or what you could be doing with your time that you're not currently because you're pursuing this degree. Several of you mentioned that your opportunity costs were 5 or 6 different things. Remember that the opportunity cost, it's not the sum of them. It's not all the possible things that you could be doing. It's just the value of your next best alternative. And so it's also not zero. A few of you mentioned that your UC tuition is paying for this class, and so you didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. And while that's true, you could be taking a part-time job instead of sitting in and watching this video and studying and reading the textbook. So remember that even though your explicit cost might be zero, the opportunity cost is certainly not going to be zero for anybody in this class. So when I asked you to calculate the ROI, some of you did a great job by going to the web and finding out resources that documented what the increase in salary would be as a result of your degree. And a few of you would cite your employer told you that there would be a 10-20% increase. That's all fine. So those are all great examples of making sure that you document your calculations. But for those of you who might have just said, well, I think it's going to be this, or I'm not really sure, I want to make sure in the future for your discussion board post that whenever you use figures, please cite them or find a resource that you can use to make sure that you make your statement with some degree of confidence. So the discussion board post 2 will be due at the end of this week, and make sure that you continue to write at least 150 words. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out discussion board post, so long as you cover the material succinctly and you answer the questions, but make sure you do spend enough time and answer the questions fairly thoroughly. So this week I asked everyone who could to participate in an online market experiment where half the class was buyers and half the class was sellers. And each person was given some oranges, and you were asked to either bid if you were a buyer, or you were asked to sell them if you were a seller. And the idea was that you wanted to maximize that surplus. That is the difference, if you were a buyer, between the price you were willing to pay and the price that you ultimately paid for it in the marketplace. So it was a pretty, I think, interesting example of how economics can work and how it can efficiently allocate resources, is that no one knew what anyone else's reservation price was. So if you were a seller, you didn't know if somebody was willing to pay $10 for your product, $5, $3, 1 penny. All you were trying to do was maximize your own profit, right? So everyone had an incentive to maximize their own surplus. And what we found was that if everyone maximized their own surplus, or tried to maximize their own surplus, we pretty quickly got to what the equilibrium price and quantity would be had we predicted it using the models that we've talked about this week in class. And I'm going to send an email out with the results and the chart from the experiment so that you can see that we pretty quickly got to the equilibrium price and quantity. We were still a little short. I think the equilibrium price was around $1 or so, and by the 4th round the market price that we had in the game was probably around 90-some cents. So we didn't quite get there. I think had we run the experiment long enough, we eventually would have gotten to that equilibrium price and quantity. What you saw was that the market was pretty quickly converging on what that equilibrium was going to be. So it's a pretty powerful tool, pretty powerful example of how markets can be used to efficiently allocate resources. So the next homework assignment is due on Sunday, this Sunday at 11:59. Make sure you complete the Connect homework assignment. Next week there's going to be more material, of course, and more homework that'll be due in preparation for week 4 or module 4, where that will summarize or finish the first half of the course. So there'll be an exam that week, but the exam is not going to be a multiple choice or questions that you'll have to do or calculations necessarily. It's going to ask you to read a case, a business case that I wrote a few months ago, and analyze that. So if you have any questions, please shoot me an email. I respond to emails very quickly. Happy to have any phone conversations if you'd rather talk through things over the phone or even online with a video conference call. So I'm very accessible. Lots of you have taken advantage of it so far. So I want to make sure that everyone has the resources to be successful in the class. Otherwise, I wish you all well. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you all next week. Thanks.